He hadn't danced in 15 years. Not since his wedding. And yet, there he was, worn-out shoes on a glossy floor, surrounded by laughter and light, with calloused hands trembling as a woman extended hers to him with a smile that could have thawed every hardship he'd endured. "Dance with me," she asked. Mike hesitated. The music thumped softly, smooth and inviting. He looked down at himself, faded dress shirt, sleeves rolled up, the scent of sawdust still clinging to him. He didn't belong here. This wasn't his world. It was a charity gala, sure, but someone like him, a widowed construction worker raising a daughter alone, was just a plus one to a coworker who couldn't make it. Still, her hand remained extended. And her eyes, there was no judgment in them. Just kindness. Maybe a little sadness. He took her hand. Her name was Elise. They moved slowly at first, his steps awkward, her movements graceful. She smiled with every misstep, laughing gently in a way that soothed the embarrassment coiling in his gut. "You're doing great," she whispered. He chuckled. "You say that like I haven't stepped on you twice." "Only twice." "I'm impressed." They danced the rest of the night. Talking. Laughing. For the first time in years, Mike didn't feel like he was surviving. He felt seen. Mike's life was anything but easy. He'd lost his wife, Marcy, to cancer 5 years ago. Since then, it had been a one-man battle, between working long hours, picking up side jobs, packing lunches, folding tiny socks, and comforting his daughter Emma through tears and nightmares. There were days when he didn't know how he kept going. Nights when the silence of their small apartment was deafening. He hadn't thought of love in a long time, there simply wasn't room for it. Not when every dollar was counted, and every moment was spoken for. But something changed after that night with Elise. They bumped into each other again a few weeks later, this time at the grocery store. She was by the cereal aisle, looking oddly out of place in a designer coat among shelves of off-brand flakes and canned soup. "Elise," he asked, almost not believing it. Her smile returned like sunlight. "Mike, hey." They talked again. And again. Coffee. Walks. Conversations that stretched late into the night. Slowly, she became a presence in his life. She met Emma. She made the little girl laugh with silly impressions and taught her how to bake cookies from scratch. Emma adored her. So did Mike, though he didn't dare say it out loud. Still, a question lingered. Who was Elise? She never talked about her job. She drove a modest car, dressed well but never lavishly. She listened more than she spoke. But there was an aura about her, something polished, refined. Out of reach. Then, one night, he found out. He was dropping off a project bid at a client's office. Some corporate building downtown he could barely afford parking near. As he stepped off the elevator, he saw a wall-mounted portrait of T. The company's founder. It was Elise. Younger, in a sleek black suit. Underneath, Elise Warner, founder and CEO, Warner Holdings. The breath punched out of him. He blinked, reading it again. Millionaire. CEO. Founder. She wasn't just successful. She was elite. He wasn't just out of her league, he wasn't even in the same sport. He left without saying a word to her. For a week, he didn't answer her calls. Not because he was angry, but because he felt ashamed. Ashamed of his old truck, his worn clothes, the way he'd let her believe he could be enough. Then one night, there was a knock at his door. He opened it. There she stood, rain dampening her coat, eyes fierce but soft. "Why are you avoiding me?" she asked. "You lied," he said, voice low. "You didn't tell me who you really were." "I never lied," she replied. "I just didn't lead with my bank account." He looked away. "You're a millionaire. And I'm just a broke dad trying to keep the lights on. I don't want your pity." Her voice trembled. "Do you really think I spent all those nights with you and Emma because I pity you? Mike, I fell in love with you. With the way you look at your daughter like she's your whole world. With your strength. Your humor. The way you keep showing up, even when life knocks you down." He met her eyes, tears welling. "I don't care about money," she said. I care about you. It wasn't perfect after that. There were arguments. Insecurities. Public gossip when people found out who Elise was dating. Mike wrestled constantly with the fear of being a burden, of not being enough. But love has a way of chipping away at doubt, when it's real, when it's patient. She didn't try to change him. She didn't sweep in to save him. She stood beside him. Helped fix up his aging truck, taught Emma piano, cheered Mike on when he finally launched his own contracting business. They danced again on their wedding night. This time under string lights in a backyard filled with friends, laughter, and a little girl throwing flower petals like confetti. Message. Sometimes, the greatest riches aren't measured in dollars but in the moments we dare to be vulnerable. Love doesn't care about status. It cares about character. About resilience. About how you show up when no one's looking. Mike never expected to fall in love at a party. And he certainly never expected that love to come wrapped in the elegance of a millionaire's heart. But he opened himself up, and in doing so, he gave Emma the gift of a full family, and himself a second chance at happiness. And Elise. She found the one thing money couldn't buy, a man who loved her not for what she had, but for who she truly was.